Hey everyone, Ridden here, and thank you for coming. And tonight, we're going to be taking a deeper look at episode 5 of season 1 of Marvel Studios' latest Disney Plus show, Hawkeye. Welcome back everyone, and yes, Marvel finally did the thing. For anyone who hasn't seen episode 5 of Hawkeye, I caution you to stop this video, go and watch the episode, and then come back, because we're definitely about to get into some heavy spoilers.
Kate Bishop. Hi. I made macaroni if you want some.
So we finally arrived at the penultimate episode of the Hawkeye series, and much like all of the other Disney Plus shows to date, this episode came right out of the gates guns blazing, with audio overlaid from Black Widow. Thus far, the trend would seem to be that the Disney Plus shows reveal a decent amount of their surprises in their penultimate episodes, and then spend the finale episodes dealing with all of the fallout that accompanies them. I like the decision to open the episode with the very character the showrunners had to know everyone wanted to see more of following last week's episode. So, seeing Yelena grace our screens here once again was great. We see her on another mission with one of her sisters to free what they believe is another enslaved widow in 2018, which ends up not being the case, as we're introduced to Anna, a former widow who is doing very well for herself, murdering for hire. This could be a loose reference to the Anna character from the Black Widow comics, who was her neighbor in Little Ukraine. Anna and Sonya, the other widow that came with Yelena on the job, joke with her about potentially reuniting with her sister once she's fully out of the lifestyle and on her own. Before we see Yelena exit to the restroom, and we're treated to the most revealing vanishing and reappearing we've seen to date. Similar to what we saw in WandaVision when Monica Rambeau returned from the blip, Yelena first vanishes right in front of us as a result of the snap, but seems to almost instantaneously reappear as a result of the blip, as we also see the bathroom around her shift as well. This was very interesting, as this is the first time we've gotten a thorough recollection of what both events look like and as they relate to a single person and the environment around them. It is at this time that Yelena exits the restroom to find Anna, now married and with an adopted child. This bit is important to acknowledge, as a widow, much like Natasha and Yelena, Anna would have had the surgery to make her incapable of having children, as Dreykov believed it could have been a distraction to their loyalty and effectiveness. We can only assume that it is Anna who brings Yelena up to speed with all that has happened, including the death of her sister Natasha.
What's happening? What's going on?
Who are you?
Yelena? Oh my god, you're back.
This makes a ton of sense, as now we know what some of the additional motivation Natasha would have had after the snap to try to bring everyone back would have been, to bring back her sister by any means. So this scene in the Black Widow film tie in even better now with the Infinity War and Endgame and the 5-year stretch between the two films. Anna's urge for Yelena and Sonya to go out and work for themselves like she does could also explain how Yelena ends up in cahoots with Val, as we saw their connection briefly discussed at the end of the Black Widow film when Val aims her at Clint.
You're gonna earn it. I've got your next target. Maybe you'd like a shot at the man responsible for your sister's death.
So, timeline-wise, the events of Black Widow happen, and a few months after, Yelena and Sonya arrive at Anna's, right around the same time Thanos is snapping at the end of Infinity War. Yelena is blipped back after Iron Man snaps at the end of the battle at the Avengers compound in Endgame, and the post-credit scene with her and Val seems to line up sometime with the beginning of the Hawkeye series. Getting back to Kate, she goes home after basically being ejected from the mission by Clint, something he believes he's doing for her own safety, and confides in her mom. This scene confirmed for me that it is in fact her mom who is behind it all, as when she tells her mom about what her and Clint have been up to and what they found out about Jack and Sloan Unlimited, she didn't even bat an eye. So at this point, I'm going to hazard a guess that her mom may in fact be Madame Masque from the comics, as that character has been one of the many rumored to eventually show up in the MCU. And in the comics, she has close ties with Kingpin, which we obviously find out later in the episode, as has also been alluded to very heavily up to this point that Eleanor does. I think it's safe to assume that a small part of episode 6's plot resolution could end up being a showdown between Kate and her mom once she finds out the truth about her.
And we found a lot of incriminating stuff about Jack, Mom, including this shell company that he has called Sloan Limited. Okay, I will.
And diving into the best part of the episode, we get girls' night with Yelena and Kate.
You have one fork?
I'm one person.
That's so weird. Come on, take a fork, eat. Eat, please. My daddy says it's good for you.
If you watch my breakdown of episode 4, then you know that this is all I was wanting from this episode. To see Yelena and Kate interact with one another and share actual words. And this scene gave me all of that and then more. I won't talk too much at length about it because there's loads more to discuss, but Yelena Belova completely stole this scene and the episode for me. Her whimsicalness here was entertaining and at the same time very chilling. She clears up that she was not intending to kill Kate when she threw her off the roof, as she put her on a lifeline, and that she just wants Clint, which Kate obviously tries to talk her out of. Yelena knows just about everything about Kate and has been watching her and Clint for quite a while, as she commends her for saving Lucky the pizza dog. She condemns Kate for her unrelenting hero worshipping of Clint and non-acknowledgement of all the bad he's done. The two already seem to have some very palpable chemistry, so I hope this scene is just the beginning of many we will see with the two.
You're really Natasha's sister.
Yes.
Wow, I did not see that coming. Like, thank God I didn't kill you up there.
You kill me again. Oh, Kate Bishop, you are so funny. Oh, and Kate Bishop, do not get in my way again.
We then see Clint arrive at Grill's apartment, which is just another nod to the comics, as Clint was actually Grill's neighbor and friend, which is what led to Kazi killing him. Grills also confirms for us that Kate and Clint's costumes are now ready, which we know will somehow end up in their possessions in the finale, as we've seen them in the final battle in the trailers and the other promotional pieces. We also see Jack being arrested when Kate returns to her mother's penthouse, and it further drives home the point that Jack may actually just be a patsy here, as he seems to be taking it quite well.
I'm gonna need you to come in and ask some questions.
I promise you this is all a big misunderstanding. I'm telling you, the only Sloan I've ever known was this woman I dated in Palm Beach, and she was an absolute nightmare.
I'm so sorry, Mom. I looked into it, honey, and you were right.
I don't blame you for calling the police. Be back in a jiffy for your Christmas party. You'll see.
This scene actually made me like the Jack character a whole lot more. This to me just seems like Eleanor covering her trail, which I'm sure we'll get to see a lot more of in next week's finale. What came next was very cool to me, as we see Clint at the monument for the Battle of New York, where the Avengers first assembled. We've come so far in the MCU since this time, it really was a bit jarring to see and to remember just how much time has passed. Clint comes to basically speak with Nat, taking out his hearing aid and shutting himself off completely from the world, and lets her know that what comes next is something that he has to do for him and his family, and that he hopes she understands, which, considering who Natasha Romanoff was, I'm quite sure she would have.
Hey, Sarah.
We should also touch back again on Laura, as it's also becoming increasingly clear she's not just Clint's wife and the mother of his children. I now believe her to be, like many others, Mockingbird from the comics, which makes sense, as in the comics, Clint was actually married to the Mockingbird character. Mockingbird was actually former S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent 19, real name Bobby Morse, who got her name due to her always taunting her opponents in battle. The interesting thing here is that in Age of Ultron, Tony actually joked about thinking she was an agent. In the comics, she actually fakes her death to return to the normal life of a civilian, which seems like the route the show could be taking us down, as that could be the information on the Rolex. Closing out the episode was a very well put together meeting of the opposing sides. Clint delivers a message arrow to the members of the Tracksuit Mafia, who were in the middle of one of the more engaging debates I've heard in a long time, essentially telling Echo to meet him where it all started at Fat Man's Auto Repair, which is yet another Easter egg for the big guy being Kingpin. Echo comes, of course, with all of the Tracksuit Mafia with her on watch, and Kazi on the roof with a sniper rifle, which doesn't amount to much as Ronin takes out him and the other stragglers fairly easily. There was tons of action here, and the fight scene between Ronin and Echo was pretty evenly matched. Clint gets her down for the count, but shows mercy by just warning her to stay away from him and his family. But she gets the upper hand and goes to kill him, but she's then stopped by Kate. Clint clearly stirs her up by telling her he was only at the auto repair shop because of a tip he got, and we see some tension begin to build between her and Kazi, as it seems she's now questioning where he was when it all went down, which could be what leads to him taking a darker role in the show. I do believe that maybe he knew what was going to happen, or maybe he has a more direct line to Kingpin than Maya knows. Kate finally tells Clint who Yelena is, which I was very happy to see happen in this episode, so we can see the confrontation next week between the two of them, fully aware of who the other is. The episode ends in the best way possible, by Kate finally getting a text while with Grills and Clint from Yelena about who hired her, that being Kate's mother, as we're shown Yelena following Eleanor to the Rockefeller building, which should be familiar to any who watched the Daredevil show, as it's the building Wilson Fisk bought. And who do we see with Eleanor in the grainy photo? Kingpin himself, played by Vincent D'Onofrio. And if there was any doubt of who the person was, we even see him listed in the credits as well. This sealed for me exactly who Kate's mom is, that being Madame Masque, and that while she may be the main villain of season 1, Kingpin himself will be playing a larger part in the storyline going forward, whether it be in season 2 of Hawkeye or in the Echo show that's already been announced. In closing, episode 5 delivered for me in the manner that everyone hyped it up to. We finally got the reveal of Kingpin, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, and with such a revelation comes all kinds of theories now as to what this could possibly mean for the MCU going forward. We don't yet know if this is the same iteration of Kingpin from the Netflix Daredevil show or if it's a new take altogether, but I'm sure we'll find out a bit more in the finale. This raises a ton of questions now, one of which being, what does this mean for the other members of the Netflix Defenders team, such as Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones. I didn't mention Daredevil, as it has been heavily rumored that Charlie Cox will be reprising the role in the upcoming Spiderman No Way Home film, and I for one am in complete belief that he will be doing so. Either way, this is awesome in every way and definitely escalates my current opinion of the Hawkeye series overall. I will of course be continuing to cover all live action Marvel and Star Wars Disney Plus content and films from all walks of life that I have the pleasure of watching. And if you feel so inclined, I would love to have you back here week in and week out to continue to cover it all with us. Again, guys, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and click that bell for notifications if you've enjoyed our content here tonight. Jump down in the comments and let me know your thoughts. And while you're at it, be sure to check out some of the other content here on the channel. All of the necessary links are listed here below for you to keep up with the coming content and shareables. Please be sure to follow me on all social media platforms. or just the one you use most frequently. We are slowly but surely building a community here, and I would personally love for you to be a part of that. And last but not least, we have a merch store. So whether you see something you like or just simply want to support the channel, head on over to our shop and grab something, or grab everything. But again, thank you so much, guys and gals, for visiting here with us today. I really appreciate each and every viewing minute of your time you've given us. There's loads of content we'll be sending your way, so I'll be seeing you. But for now, be blessed. And it was written.
Looking out across the nighttime, the city sleep inside. Yeah, hear her voice, shake my window, sweet seduce.